All right, let's talk about the IELTS process chart. You know that feeling, right? You see one of those diagrams, the clock starts ticking, and your mind just goes blank. Well, if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to completely demystify these things and give you a rock-solid system to get a high score. Okay, let's jump right in.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll look at the challenge itself. Then I'm going to give you a super simple 4-part blueprint for your essay. After that, we'll build up your language toolkit, see how it all works with a real example, and then finish up with getting into the right mindset for test day. It's a clear path from confusion straight to confidence.
First up, the process chart challenge. Before we can even think about writing a great answer, we've got to understand what we're actually looking at. This is so the feeling, isn't it? You get a diagram of, how bricks are made or how water cycles through the planet. That clock is ticking down and that one huge question hits you. Where do I even start? It can feel totally overwhelming, but I promise you, there is a system for this. So here's the very first thing you need to know. Nearly every single process chart falls into one of these two buckets. On the left, you've got natural processes. Think of the water cycle. These are usually cyclical, like a circle, and they happen all on their own. And on the right, you have manufacturing processes, basically how something gets made. These are almost always linear, like a straight line from start to finish. Your first job is just to figure out which type you're looking at. Simple as that. And that brings us to section 2, your 4-part blueprint. Seriously, think of this as your secret weapon. It's a simple, repeatable structure that will organize your thoughts and your essay every single time. And here it is. It's just 4 parts. That's it. First, a quick introduction where you just rephrase the question they gave you. Second, a short overview that summarizes the whole process from start to finish. And then you just split the diagram in half. Body paragraph 1 describes the first half, body paragraph 2 describes the second half. This structure works for any process chart they can throw at you. And check this out. This simple template takes all the stress out of writing that first sentence. You don't have to be clever or creative. Just use this pattern. The diagram illustrates the process of, and then you fill in the blank with whatever the chart shows. Boom, a perfect high-scoring start. And for their second paragraph, that all-important overview, here is another go-to pattern for you. Overall, the process involves a series of stages, beginning with, you just name that first step, and ending with, you name the final product. Doing this right away shows the examiner you get the big picture before you dive into all the details. Okay, on to section 3. We have the blueprint, so now we need the tools to actually build the thing, right? This is where we put together your language toolkit with the exact words and grammar you're going to need. Let's start with maybe the most important tool in the whole box, the passive voice. Just look at the difference here. The active voice, on the left, focuses on the person, the workers. But for a process chart, we don't really care who does the action. We just care about the action itself. And that's what the passive voice does. The raw materials are collected, puts the focus right where it should be. And this is exactly why it's so important. Using the passive voice makes your writing sound more formal, more objective, more, academic. And that's precisely what the examiners are looking for in writing task 1. So the bottom line is this. You need to make the passive voice your new best friend. Next up in our toolkit, strong verbs. Let's get some upgrades here. Instead of saying something like it changes, you could say the material undergoes a transformation. Instead of they clean it, you can say it is filtered or is purified. Using specific, precise language like this is such an easy way to boost your vocabulary score. And finally, you need the glue that holds all the steps together. These are your sequencing words. They act like little signposts that guide the reader smoothly from one stage to the next. You can start with, the first stage involves, move on with words like subsequently or following this, and then wrap it all up with, in the final stage. This is what creates a logical, easy-to-follow story. All right, section 4, the blueprint in action. We've got the structure, we've got the language, now let's put it all together. Let's see how this system works with a real-world example describing the water cycle. So, here we go. We're going to tackle a classic natural process. As I walk you through this, keep an eye out for our blueprint, our special vocabulary from the toolkit, and of course, our good friend, the passive voice. And look at this. You can see the whole system at work. We start with a sequencing word, first. Then we use the passive voice. Water is heated. We connect to the next stage with subsequently. Then, following this. We finish it off with finally. And notice that other passive voice, water is collected. See how the language from our toolkit just brings the process to life in a really clear academic way? It really is that simple.
And that brings us to our final section, mastering the mindset. Because look, having the tools is one thing, but using them with confidence and control when that clock is ticking, well, that's the final piece of the puzzle. Here are 4 essential habits to lock in right now. First, and this is non-negotiable, always spend 2 or 3 minutes just looking at the diagram. Understand it before you write a single word. Second, make a conscious effort to use the precise vocabulary we just talked about. Third, never ever break the chronological order. And finally, practice. Confidence just comes from repetition. And here's your final pre-flight check, the most common traps to avoid. Don't skip any stages, don't mix up the order, don't drown the examiner in tiny little details they don't need. And most importantly, never, ever add information or your own opinions that are not in the chart. Your job is just to describe what you see, nothing more. So there you have it, a complete system for mastering any IELTS process chart. You've got the 4-part blueprint, you've got the language toolkit, and you've got the mindset for success. So the only question left is, which process are you going to master next?